How was it? What are your experience or learnings in the first task? In this task is about myself, who I am, my daily routines, and other activities. It's my first time to make a video blog about myself, and I'm very excited. Although I'm not good at editing video, but it excites me on how to make it creative, beautiful, and catchy to the eyes. Although Dr. Dennis is strict, but it gives us impact to be productive, to be creative, to motivate ourselves to do well, and also it impacts us how to manage our time and multitask. It's a bit challenging to me, especially the time that I'm going to work for it. Every evening after dinner to midnight is only my scheduled time until I adjust and make way in the morning and in the afternoon. I realize myself what kind of person I am as a wife, as a mother, as a friend, and as a teacher. Honestly, I already forgot what are the different domains in assessing our early childhood learners. So through these tests, I regain my knowledge about the different domains in child development. So there are three domains of learning: the cognitive, affective, and psychomotor. So when we say cognitive, the objectives and skills that help you process information, this is where we find Bloom's taxonomy. And to the affective objectives deals with the feelings, emotions, attitudes, appreciation, and preference. So let's go to psychomotor. Objectives that include those related to motor skills, coordination, and physical movement. Educators recognize that students learn in different ways, requiring them to establish teaching methods that emphasize each student's distinctive strengths. These concepts have influenced the field of education by encouraging a more holistic approach to learning. Each domain has specific features and objectives designed to engage students who learn to solve problems, process information, and build their skills using different perspectives. This helps make learning easier and more enjoyable.
Much as the butcher conveniently divides a cute, fluffy chicken into delicious pieces, academics divide the mechanisms of human learning into three domains: cognitive, psychomotor, and affective. The cognitive domain involves intellectual skills and organizes those skills in a hierarchy based on degree of complexity. Relatively simple skills, such as the learning and recalling of the facts, are placed at the bottom of the hierarchy, while more complex skills, such as analysis and synthesis, are placed on the top. Not surprisingly, this domain is most often the focus of the educational system. For example, A student of literature might first memorize facts about Hamlet. Later, that student would write essays analyzing the theme of revenge or some other crap. At the highest level, the student would draw from the lower level skills to create original works of literature, preferably superior to those god-awful Twilight books. Sparkly vampires? Seriously? The psychomotor domain involves the adoption of skills requiring hand-eye coordination and other physical tasks. It doesn't have a whole lot to do with library instruction, so we're going to skip right on over to
the affective domain! Yay! Which involves attitudes and values. It describes how people progress from ignorance of a subject to making that subject an integral part of who they are. At the lower levels, a person learns that a subject exists, chooses to pay attention to it, and responds to it with goodwill. At higher levels, the person makes an effort to interact with the subject, eventually making it a determining force in his or her life. For example, that same student of literature would begin by becoming aware that Hamlet exists, decide to read it, and enjoy the experience. Later, the student would acquire other plays and read them, maybe attend a performance. At the highest level, the student would come to appreciate literature as something of enduring value, and make it a permanent part of his or her life.
This three-way division exists purely for academic convenience. Learning domains are actually deeply interconnected, like the chicken is to its wings and drumsticks. Just as the chicken becomes significantly less cute when subdivided, learning tends to suffer when domains are addressed in isolation.
I learned the techniques and methods that a teacher applies is to support student learning. And I also learned that teaching strategies is very important role in classroom instruction. I also learned that I will make my teaching strategies more effective is to make learning enjoyable, be innovative in many ways, and in many activities. The best practices in early childhood education in 2 countries that I choose. So let's go first in Norway. So I learned that Norway believe that the childhood days are some of the most valuable days in one's life. The students here in Norway don't have homework, so the teachers here at school encourage students to socialize, pursue sports, and have fun rather than boring them with loads of homework. They believe that this helps an overall development of the students. The teachers here in Norway and the children's parents feel that modern childhood became too protected, regimented, and technology-centered. I also learned that believe that outdoor teaching makes children stronger, more resilient, and also more creative. And I was shocked when I know that private schools in Norway are illegal. I like Germany's practices because they enable all children between the ages of 3 and 10 to have everyday encounters with natural phenomena and with questions about mathematics, computer sciences, and technology. And I learned that they completely outdoors and there is no indoor time for children. They are into forest kindergartens and a preschool with no walls, no desks, and no computers. Where the tree canopy is the ceiling and climbing barefoot is not just allowed but encouraged. So their children aren't diving into reading, writing, and arithmetic, but doesn't mean they aren't acquiring knowledge. I really like their kindergartens because they are learning all kinds of valuable principles about gravity and texture and shapes and colors. All the things that you might expect to see in a preschool curriculum. So they are just doing outdoors and naturally at their own pace. Current issues, problems, and concerns of the two countries chosen related to early childhood education. So these are the challenges, issues, or problems in Norway. So during recent decades, one of the fundamental problems impacting the domain of the early childhood education and care is inadequate doctoral training. So these are the challenges, issues, problems, and concern in Norway. So in rendering kindergartens more attractive for minority language and low-income families and ensuring that there is an even supply of places across the country and at all times. So areas of low levels of coverage of kindergartens should receive additional support to scale up provision. And also the problems is the quality issues are more salient in Norway than concerns about access, especially regarding workforce quality and monitoring. The problems also is the shortage of staff. However, early childhood education and care system still suffers from persistent shortages of qualified staffs, and the sector offers staff insufficient status, pay, and career options. So the issues in Germany, the problems and concerns are first is the inequality education is a well-known issue in this country. Second is the migrant children are discriminated based on ethnicity or on religious minorities. And the third is the shortage of staff. Task number 5 is to make a SWOT analysis of the chosen countries, the strength, the weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Playground facilities and inadequate clean and safe comfort rooms, because mostly here in the Philippines our CR here is very dirty and uncrowded or lack of classrooms, understaffing, gap between rich and poor. So these are the weaknesses of the Philippines.
I realized that poverty has a big impact in children. It results to poor nutrition and being malnourished can affect a child's cognitive abilities as well as their level of concentration.
So next is the opportunities here in the Philippines. First is we are globally competitive. Reintroduction of vocational and technical education to gain employment after graduation. Next is the threats here in the Philippines. So number of graduates from different universities and colleges cannot be accommodated by labor market, and they are forced to accept employment from their areas of go to the SWAT in Germany. So the strength of the Germany is they have the free education even in college. They have a lot of parent involvement. They are very strict in disciplining the children. They have the large value in Germany. Shorter school days allows more time for homework. And the weaknesses in Germany is the curriculum is very focused on academic rather than a range of more general interests such as photography. And the system is rigid with the pupils. No extracurricular activities after the school. They have lower class and migrant families are not supported enough and fail at school. And then the opportunities in Germany benefits from a high quality education help you advance in your career and learn how language by making new friends, combining highly education with unique cultural quality experience. And also the threats in Germany. Homeschooling is illegal. Attendance is compulsory there. If you have absent, then there's a charge fee in other universities. Individual states are responsible for education policy, so this means it's not the same curriculum. It depends on where your family is living. So that's what Philippines. I learned that the strength of the Philippines is the strong knowledge in English language. Second is the highly skilled teachers. Third is the PTA willing to participate. Good reputation as an innovation organization. Enough pupils in the Philippines. And we have positive parents here, the Parent Teacher Involvement Association, and the free education. The weaknesses of the Philippines is we have here poor resources of all kinds, lack of feeding programs, unsafe playgrounds.
Are the problems that you know, experience, or encountered in school? Problems to students. Difficulty in following instructions. The solution to this is to help your child follow the directions. It's first, ask for your child's attention. Second is to minimize distractions. Third, speak quietly. Fourth is use wait time. They can even identify the numbers, even one. The solution to this is teach children to recognize numbers by using drawing in a paper or using fun stories or chants for each number. Practice skywriting the number in air, drawing it in foam or other messy play substances, and by making numbers in craft activities. Learners are hard to master the alphabet. So the solution to this is sing alphabet songs, play letter matching games, open a new alphabet box each week, use interdisciplinary learning with each letter to strengthen letter associations, and if you use flashcards to teach the alphabet, use logical ones, and the last is eat foods shaped like letters to help preschoolers learn their alphabet. having problems concentrating in class if others are noisy and disruptive. When trying to quiet down a noisy classroom, don't address a whole group. Instead, focus on a few individual students who are being the noisiest. Let your students know that every behavior has a consequence. So let the class know that if they keep being loud, you'll take away game time, story or whatever activity they really enjoy. Several factors can affect learning ability, including setting, light, noise, and even color. Everyone busy? The more students you have in your classroom, the easier it is for a few distracted kids to derail your lessons. Second is to use flexible grouping. All classrooms have students at different ability levels who earn at different places. Instructional materials. Using instructional materials, it is from the teacher's pocket to buy and make instructional materials. Damaged classroom facilities. Financial. Insufficient funding for classroom supplies and equipment. Is the lack of financial resources. Lack of financial resources devoted to education can be evidenced in many ways, including lack of schools and other facilities, insufficient classrooms, insufficient underpaid and or insufficiently trained teachers, lack of management and supervision, lack of and or poor quality textbooks and other learning. Every time I teach a lesson, I learn the materials in new and deeper way. I always learn so much from my students. I learn from their insights and reactions. They see aspects all the time in the sources we use that I wouldn't have seen otherwise. And these are awesome teaching moments. My students have taught me that everyone always has some kind of significant ongoing challenge in their life, be it directly or indirectly with a friend, family members, in terms of health, work, money, or something else.